No Meat Monday presents... What would you call this?
Stir fry.
This isn't...
Oh,
okay, stir fry. We're just going to call it stir fry. Okay, you guys, ignore my makeup. There's actually a tutorial for this that should be up before this. But this week on No Meat Monday, we are making John and I's favorite standby. It is essentially just a tofu stir fry, and this time we made it with rice noodles. Usually we just use rice, but we had some rice noodles in the house to use up, so we went ahead and used those. You can substitute... the cats just got so scared by that. Okay, you can substitute any noodles you would like, noodles, rice, whatever grain you would like. You can use couscous, you could literally use anything. But we just used rice noodles, and the recipe is up for interpretation. You can kind of change out the ingredients with whatever you like. That's the nice thing about this recipe, is that it is John and I's standby because it's so versatile. You can just use whatever you have in the house. You can change the flavors to suit your needs. If you don't want something spicy, you can throw in more pepper. If you, John likes spicy. Yeah, let's just get started with the recipe. This is super duper easy, and I think you guys will find this is a nice base recipe for things that you want to make at home. Okay, so here's what's going on. I'm going to press one 14-ounce package of tofu. I have some mushrooms over here that I'm going to chop, so it'll end up being like half of this package, but I have some older ones to use up. So that's like 5 ounces of mushrooms. I have half of a medium yellow onion to cut up. I have what is essentially 3 small to medium bell peppers, a jalapeno, and a poblano pepper. And I'm also going to heat up some oil in my wok and start with the onions, and then we'll come back. Okay, so my onion is chopped, and I'm going to now heat up my oil. Sorry, you guys. Look, we have a fan now. They came and fixed that. So I'm going to heat up my oil, and then I'm going to put in my onions and let them saute while I finish prepping the rest of my vegetables. I almost forgot to say to also add some minced garlic with your onion. I would say we use about a teaspoon, a half of a teaspoon probably when we do this. So just add a half of a teaspoon with your onions and let them saute. Okay, so with your go ahead. With your super spicy peppers, you can pretty much add them anytime because you want them to go ahead and cook with your garlic and your onion. That's what that's called. So he went ahead and added, was it a jalapeno? And he's going to go ahead and chop up the poblano. Would you stop? And throw those in now, and then after the onions are translucent, we'll add in the bell peppers and the mushrooms. Okay, so what we're adding in is cumin, probably 1/8 of a teaspoon, maybe a quarter. Smoked paprika, this is probably a whole teaspoon. Somewhere between a half and a full teaspoon, if it'll come out. We'll say 1/8 of a teaspoon of garlic salt. Then we're going to also add some black pepper. This is probably about a half, or we'll say 1/8 of a teaspoon of that too, honestly. It doesn't come out that fast. And 1/8 of a teaspoon of white pepper. That might be more like a half. 1/4 of a teaspoon of red cayenne pepper. I don't like using much of this. I think I use too much paprika because it smells super paprika-y. And I think that's all I'm going to add. So I'm just going to mix it all together. And once we add the vegetables, I'll add in some other sauces. But that's it for now. Okay, so our onions are definitely ready to be, they're definitely tender and translucent, so we're going to add in our other ingredients. There are our peppers. John is working on our mushrooms. Some of my pepper cuts are a little big, so I was trying to hurry, so don't worry about that. But we're just going to let all this cook, and I'm going to grab my sauces that we're going to add. Okay, so first we're going to add what is probably a tablespoon of soy sauce. Then we're going to add what is probably a teaspoon of sweet chili sauce. Actually, I might just use what's left. Oh no, I don't want to use what's left in the bottle. I need some for the noodles. Okay, so there is that. I might add just a touch more soy sauce. That was a little more than a touch, but you get the point. And then we're just going to mix all of that together. I'm going to have to turn the heat up a little. So the heat is now going to be just above medium. And we're going to get that cooking. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the mushrooms. This is how many mushrooms we ended up with. And I realized that we did this a little out of order. Usually you would have put the tofu in before your sauces, but we kind of forgot about our tofu for a minute there. Until John mentioned that the cans were about to fall over. And I was like, oh hey, we need that in here. So, he's working on the tofu now, but you would have wanted to have put your sliced tofu, diced, cubed, whatever you do with it, tofu in before your sauces. So, the same time as your peppers, and your mushrooms should have gone in the same time too, but I'm a little slow tonight. I don't know. So yeah, we're just going to get those all mixed together and get these cooking. You're welcome to cut your mushrooms in smaller pieces if you'd like, but I enjoy mushrooms, as does John, so I do big slices. And now John is bringing over our tofu and tossing that in. Just toss it in there. And I'm going to get all that mixed together too. I just need to bring this pot of water to a boil, so I just put it on high. You like this? You guys like this? I did this myself. Isn't that awesome? Anyways, just bring your pot to a boil. So I just put it on high, and then we're going to make our rice noodles in there while all this is cooking. So as you can see, I didn't know where John put the spatula fork guy. As you can see, it is cooking. It is hot. I think I'm going to turn it down a little because it's really hot, and I don't want anything to burn or stick to the pan. So I'm going to bring it down to just below medium heat again, now that everything is up to the right temperature and cooking. Oh, and this plate back here is going to be used as the lid to this pan because I don't have the lid to it anymore. So turning that down, and as soon as this comes to a boil, we'll be back. So as you can see, this is pretty much done. Everything is cooked. You can tell that because everything will be tender. You know, you want it to be like al dente to the teeth. Have a little bite, you know. So what I'm going to do with that is turn this all the way down to just low, just to keep it warm. And this is boiling now. So what we're doing is making rice noodles. I don't have a ton left, but usually we would use more than this, but I'm going to use what I have left. Okay, so what we're going to do, it's boiling. We're going to turn it off. We're going to add our rice noodles, which is probably going to make a mess trying to get these out of this bag. You add the rice noodles. Usually you would remove them from heat, but I've had really bad problems doing it that way. They're off. Push them into the water so you don't end up with any crunchy bits. Put the lid on your pan and wait 10 minutes. And in 10 minutes, everything will be done. You don't want to take this off until 10 minutes is up. Okay, so this is done. This has been done. This was just on low. As you can see, it's still hot. That was the point of leaving it on low. And then this is done. Fortunately, because my lid is a plate and it's bigger than the actual pot, I can just grab it and lift it off. What we're going to do is we're going to take this guy, strain it out, and dump it back in the pan. So just hold that thought. So there's a little bit of water in there. It's not a big deal because what we're going to do now is add some soy sauce to the noodles. It's probably about a tablespoon. And we're going to add, well, whatever I can get out of here to the noodles. A teaspoon would be ideal, but I think I maybe got like a half a teaspoon. And then we're just going to mix that together. And then I'm going to keep it on low heat just to cook off some of this water, which is water from the noodles and water from the soy sauce. Basically where, what is that called?
Evaporation.
When you cook something off though, what is that cooking term? What is that cooking term, you guys? Reducing. We're reducing this.
It's a reduction.
As you can see, a pepper got in there from the spatula. But all we're going to do is reduce the liquid, and I mean it does it super fast. It's already like mostly gone. We're reducing the liquid, and it's also going to get absorbed by the rice noodles a little, which is kind of what we want because then we get all the flavor. And then you're just going to put some rice noodles in a bowl, put some of the mixture on top, and I'll be back with some pictures for the end. That's about it. It's super easy. This is John and I's like favorite standby, so.
We use rice sometimes instead of rice noodles though.
Yeah.